Hello there, Ray here, and today guys I will be showing you 5 unique tricks which you can do in the newest 1.16 snapshot. This is a continuation of my snapshot review video, which if you haven't seen already, I'll link it down below. YouTube was a little bit buggy yesterday, so it took a couple hours for the video to actually get processed. All these cool tricks we came across during our snapshot stream. We'll have another one this Friday. So make sure you guys are following me on my other social media so you guys don't miss out on those. You guys are able to hop on the same server as me and build stuff together. Now let's get into all those cool tricks. So they made a new change where wither skeletons actively go after piglins. I'd like to see how far they can actually kind of detect them. So I put a piglin over here that has no AI and a wither skeleton because I have to make sure that guy doesn't die. We should be able to prevent that just by doing something like this. Okay, let's go ahead and put him back here. Notice how I have the chunk grids up. Just helps me kind of measure blocks. So he's right on the edge of a chunk. So if we go all the way back to here, it should be about 16 blocks. And it looks like he can detect them for 16 blocks. If I go one more, it'll be 17 blocks. And it looks like he does not detect the pigling from there unless he decides to walk over here. So they can detect the wither skeletons from a pretty good distance, and we actually use this to make a really super simple wither skeleton farm, and I'll showcase that in an upcoming video. So with the new smithing tables, if you have enchanted gear, you put it in the first slot, and your netherite ingot in the second slot, it will keep the enchantment. So we have Unbreaking and Blast, and the outcome is going to be Unbreaking as well as Blast. That's really nice, so you can actually upgrade any type of armor that you had before that's diamond, upgrade it without worrying about losing enchantments. So that's a nice thing about the smithing table. You guys also wonder if it's possible to upgrade other types of weapons inside of the new smithing table. So it seems like as soon as you place it in there, you can see this X here, it doesn't like it. Let's go ahead and just switch out a bunch of different swords. And it seems that it's not possible. If you push something in like this, you see there's X there immediately. Now let's grab something that it does like. So here's our diamond sword. Oh, I guess it still X's it out until you get 2 good things it likes. And scraps, no, I don't pay attention to that. So currently it's pretty limited. Hopefully they add some more things to it. But the biggest thing is that you can get enchantments upgraded using this system. So here's like my protection 8 golden helmet. Theoretically the best helmet in survival. But since it is gold, it can't be upgraded. The best diamond one you could get is projectile protection 8 or normal protection 6, which is this one here. And you can actually get this in survival. And I have a whole video going over how it's possible, which you can find down below. Let's go ahead and put this into the upgrading. So let's try this out. We got our netherite ingot, and yes, it keeps its enchantment. So now you can actually take that protection 6 and upgrade it into netherite helmet, which would be super extremely OP. The only downside to having this type of double protection armor is you cannot put mending on it. So if you do like something like this, you see it takes one of the protections away. So you wouldn't want to do that, but can you put this helmet in there? It also takes one of the protections away. So you're left with a limited number of uses. I also have some overstacked armor. And let's see if we can use some of this overstacked armor inside of this. So we'll shift click this in there and shift click that in there. And if we pull one of these out, oh, wow, it removes our whole entire stack and we get one. Okay, so that's a bit odd. That's probably a bug. It should probably not take a whole stack. But this is a snapshot, so there is some bugs in it. So the new items that the piglings will barter for has been changed. So this is the 3rd time that they have changed it. We're going to take a look at all the different amounts there is. Cheater Codes made up a nice document which shows all the minimum as well as maximum. It shows the chances. It also shows how much you can get if you use up 1 stack of gold ingots. We'll be looking into that, which is into this chest right here. So at the very end, this is the stuff with the largest quantity, meaning that it has the highest weight. So you're more likely to see this given to you as a player. So they brought back soul sand, which is amazing. This can be used to obviously farm up withers by summoning withers, soul sand, T-shape, and the wither skulls. So you can go back to having pretty much infinite source of making wither skeletons, which is amazing, especially something like on Skyblock. Let's say you don't have a really good source of soul sand. Now you can get it once again. That is going to be a big game changer. I'm definitely looking forward to making automatic systems to kind of make our withers and then kill them, get the stars automatically. The weights are a weight of 40. So weight of 40, that is the highest it will out of all the items. and they give you amounts between 4 and 16. And to make one wither, it does take 4 soul sand, so it kind of matches that. Next up is crying obsidian. That's a new type of block that came out. It doesn't really have a use, but probably be used to reset your spawn point or set your spawn point inside of the nether dimension rather than using a bed in the overworld. So anywhere between 1 and 3 will be given at any given time. And they also have a weight of 40, so they're pretty common, but low amounts. And they also have special properties like they can be pushed by pistons, but they're blast resistant. So they're similar to like netherite or ancient debris, but they're not as expensive because you get them from these guys pretty commonly. Next up is obsidian, which is really useful things. You can use it for like beacons, enchanting tables, nether portals, that sort of stuff. Ender chest, and you can get 1 at a time. So it's very low amounts when he does give it to you, but it has a high weight, so it's very common for him to give it. Next up is nether. This is nether brick item. So you can get between 4 and 6 of them. And they have a weight of 40. So you get a pretty decent amount. You can make those into quite a few different things like the actual bricks as well as fences and red bricks and stuff like that. Next up is leather, which you get between 4 and 10 of them. Quite a bit. And it also has a weight of 40. So it's going to be pretty common to see large amounts of leather over time. Leather is pretty common in Minecraft, but it's very useful as well. Gravel, which is amazing to have, as you don't really need to go around the oceans and mine this up. You get 8 to 16 of these. It has a weight of 40, so it's pretty common. Next up is the fire charges, which we use for fires or fireworks. You get 1 to 5 of those, and they also have a weight of 40. Next is the string, which you get 8 to 24, so a lot of those, but they have a weight of 20. So everything else has a weight of 20, so half as likely of getting it as these ones over here. But string is very useful to have, and apparently that's how the piglins make their crossbows, is from the string. We also got ender pearls. We get 4 to 8 of those. They have a weight of 20. Those things are just handy to have overall. And you can also get, like, use this to get Eyes of Ender to find the stronghold, rather than trying to farm up Enderman in the overworld. You can do some bartering if you have gold. We got magma cream next. There's 1 to 6 of them each time he gives it to you. It has a weight of 20. We got gold dust. We get 5 to 12 of them. And you also have a weight of 20. This one's really nice to have. It's quartz. Quartz are weights between 8 and 16, which is quite high. I also have a weight of 20. So a great way to get tons of quartz. You don't have to mine it up. I'm definitely looking forward to having tons of quartz so you can make observers and comparators without much of a hassle. And quartz as a block, building block, looks really amazing. So hopefully more people will build out of it. This is one of the new items that they added, which is a iron nugget. It's more towards the higher end, so it only has a weight of 10, but you can get between 9 and 16 of those. So enough to like kind of fill up your grid and make an ingot if you want to. But probably not as good as the iron farm. Iron farms are pretty powerful, but it's nice to kind of get this on the side. But most of the time, we know when it comes to making iron stuff, you're going to have to use quite a few ingots to craft up to make blocks. So overall, I wouldn't really enjoy crafting, so I probably wouldn't use this for iron source, but you can get it there. Next is the fire potion. This is a splash one, 3 minutes long. You only get 1 at a time. It also has a weight of 10. Then we have the fire potion that is a drinkable. When you drink it, you get 3 minutes worth of fire resistance and also has a weight of 10. The last one is the rarest, which is another right hoe. It only comes in quantities of 1 and it only has a weight of 1, which is quite rare. So there's all the current trades or barters that the pigling will give you. Tier codes figured out how much of each of these you'd get if you would just spend 1 stack of gold ingots with a piglin, and we put the results in here. So if you spend 1 stack of gold ingots, this is on average what you're going to get. So we're going to start from the most common and work our way upwards. So 62 soul sand, which is a lot of soul sand. Get 12 crying obsidian, 6 obsidian, 62 nether brick, that's a lot, 44 leather, over a stack, and 11 of gravel. So you get a lot of gravel out of this. You also get 19 fire charges, 50 string, which is quite a bit. Get some ender pearls, over a stack of those, 12 magma cream, 26 glowstone dust, 37 nether quartz. So if you spend 1 stack of gold ingots, you almost get half of that stack back just in nether quartz, which is really cool to see. I definitely think that's a good conversion, turning your gold ingots into nether quartz. Then there's our iron nuggets, which you only get 35 of, so not a lot. It takes quite a few to make a block. There's chances of getting a potion is actually not even 1, but it is 1.5. So you get 1 and about half of a potion each time you spend this. Same for this potion here, so we've got 1.5 of these. And for the netherite hoe, you only have a 10% chance, so you only get like 1/10 of a netherite hoe. So you'd have to do this 10 times over to have a chance of just probably getting 1 of these. So it is considerably rare than everything else on here. Yeah, that's the current trades or barters that you can do with the piglings. I'm pretty impressed. They said they went ahead and took away stuff like, well, you can see here's the old one, like the fungi or the fungus, took those away. So hopefully they make them so you can grow them, because currently they don't grow. They also took away the nelium, so you can't get like an infinite source of netherrack. Not sure why you want that, but you can't do it no longer. They also took away the shroom lights, which you can get from like crafting up fungi. So hopefully they will add those as a growable source. See how we don't got like the raw pork anymore, and some of the mushroom stuff and flint and like front flesh. Some of that stuff got taken away. I don't really care about that so much. Mostly just paying attention to some of the bigger stuff. But yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' ideas on this. So we went ahead and updated our fly machine, our target block fly machine, to work with the new changes to the target block. Now they will update fairly quickly just because the block itself doesn't stay powered, so it'll just put in a small pulse. So even a short delay, like one that's anything over than 2 redstone ticks, it can use. If it's too fast, then it doesn't really update. Something like 3 game ticks, it can use. But there is a small chance that it will break when it's like this. But sometimes it can keep a clock up. Before we had to leave a whole second in between. And essentially what we did is very similar to the other one, except we have the target block right here, and then we put arrow into it. It's going to push this piston, which is push all these segments forward. And then what it's going to do is it's going to pull this segment back here. And the way that this last segment works is it will lift up this piston. So you can see it lifts it up and pulls back down. And then after that, then there's a signal that goes up through this observer and will pulse this trapdoor. Because the items, like these arrows, are getting stuck in the side of this fence gate here. And we have to open the fence gate to allow the arrow to fall back down again. So it hits it again. We also use a fence gate for the arrow to rub up against and be moved forward. Otherwise it just gets left behind. Yeah, it's not just machine only moves forward when there's an arrow in there. If you take the arrow out, the machine won't move forward. So it's pretty cool. You can also use it with tridents. As long as the projectile gets reset by dropped again, it won't lose, or it won't despawn. It'll update its despawn timer. So really cool. Fly machine. And it's going to keep flying until it runs out of entity processing chunks, which are the chunks that can process entities. And then it'll just stop. So Cheater Code's actually made his a little bit different, where he had his 2 observers that make it go up and down with the target block. Then after that, he has a short delay with this piston. And then he flicks the fence gate with this observer over here, rather than trying to do it all in one segment. So you only have, what, 3 segments? Or mine was like 6 segments?
Yep.
So Cheerco's added a honey block onto his fly machine, and the arrow is actually kind of partly connected to it, so it's up against it. So when he removes the block, it slowly goes down before it touches it. Kind of a really cool way to make a delay system. Pretty cool how you can make a delay. I never really thought about that. In the future, like if we need to make delays, we can try and use entities. I mean, in general, entities on fly machines are really annoying.
Yeah.
But it's an option. So use the slowness of the honey to make enough delay so the piston will retract.
No, not really. It actually uses the delay of the target block first.
Ah, okay.
Because
So
the machine
only
only
pulls.
moves once it's depowered.
I see.
The honey just is more convenient than the fence gate, and I guess adds a bit slowness.
It's really small and compact. But you could definitely change it so you do use the target block as well as honey block to create delay. Nice. So one of the new things they added is that You can have like efficiency as well as fortune or silk touch applied to hoe. The only block that's really specialized for the hoe is the warp blocks, either crimson or the warped variations. So there might be some alternative uses for hoe, since the hoe has so much durability, has over 2,000 durability, which is insane. And you can also put unbreaking on it. So it's unbreaking 3, it lasts 4 times as long. So instead of 2,000 durability, you're looking at 8,000 durability, 8,000 uses before it breaks, which is insane without even using mending on it. But one of the main reasons why you would use a netherite hoe is because you can get these things essentially from a piglin just by over time doing bartering with them with gold ingots. And then you can get one of these hoes. And of course, you're going to end up with a lot of these hoes over time. You don't really know what to do with them. So there might be a use for them to use it on one of these rather than just using them to till up the ground. And that way it might actually be more useful to use it for this rather than the actual tools that are needed to kind of harvest these. So some things you can use it on to get the fortune ability. You can use it on netherwort to get higher chances of that. And since it's an instant break, anything instant break won't actually use any durability on those items. So netherwort you can use it on, you can get more seeds from wheat, you can get more carrots, you can get more potatoes, you can get more beets. You can also break berry bushes with it and get more berries, but then the bush will fall and like break off and won't be able to produce more. So some uses where it does take durability is stuff like melon blocks. So you can like silk touch melon blocks with it and use that durability. But of course, axes are better, or hatchets are better for taking down melon blocks. You can break leaves. There is something better for leaves, which is swords, but they're kind of slow as well. So I guess you could just use like a hoe to break them. And you can see it's pretty fast at breaking leaves. You have a higher chance of getting the saplings, as well as if it's like one that drops apples, you get more apples, and you can also get more sticks when you use fortune with it. Same thing goes for like sea lanterns. You use fortune, you can get pretty much all the pieces you need back, but most likely you want to use silk touch. Same thing for glowstone, you get a lot of items back. Gravel with fortune, it'll give you 100% chance of getting flint, so that could be useful if you don't want to have a fortune spade. You can also use it on tall grass. Apparently it gives you a higher chance of getting seeds. So it'll be interesting to see if they add any more uses for the hoe. And that way you can actually use them, because currently this is everything that you can use a fortunate. You can also use it for silk touch, but it's not as useful. You could definitely silk touch stuff with it. So to get the new invisible item frames, this is the command you need. So use /give myself item frame. And then there's an entity tag, and this entity tag is invisible 1b. Go ahead and enter. Item frame here is different than these other ones. They don't stack normally with other ones. It has an NBT tag. So I hold my hand, it's not invisible, but right here I have some barrier blocks. And if I click the item frame up against it, it's actually there, it's invisible. Let's do F3 plus B. And you see it doesn't even show up as like an entity. If we put a normal item frame beside it, you can see a little white line, and that just shows that it is an entity. But even in spectator mode, you can't see the invisible item frame. We go ahead and put something inside the item frame. There you see it. And there is a normal item frame. It looks pretty cool. So if you don't know where the item frame is, it's pretty hard to find it because you can't even see it in spectator mode. It allows you to make an item essentially float. Now in survival, we should still be able to knock this out, and we're able to break out the item frame as well. Yes. So the other NBT that you can give the item frame is fixed. So instead of having entity tag being invisible, now it's fixed. This means you can't take the items out of it. Let's go ahead and hit enter. So now we have a different item frame. These two, even though they look the same, they don't stack. I believe it's this one now that I switched them. So there is the item frame. We can place it in survival. We can place blocks into it. No. So you can't place blocks when you're in survival. Let's try creative. Nope. So this one you're unable to actually break the item frame. So I can't break it even though I'm in creative. Now if you would break the block behind it, normally that would make the item frames pop off. And yeah, it seems like that doesn't even make this item frame pop off. So it seems like you can't actually place items into this item frame. So maybe if you would want to have this type, you'd have to summon it with items already in it. So next command is just that. We got an item frame. It's going to be fixed right here, as well as invisible. And it's going to have an item in it, which is a diamond. So let's go ahead and enter. So this item frame is special. Let's go ahead and put it up here. So you can see the item is there already. The item frame itself is invisible and you're unable to actually take this item out. So you can't like break it away or something. So this could be alternative to using like armor stands. A lot of people use armor stand to kind of put cool items in. You can't do as much with this as you could do with like armor stand, but it is a cool way to kind of showcase different things off without having that ugly item frame around it. And thanks to Spin Plays for sending me these commands to show you guys how to do this. I want to say big thanks to everyone who joined the stream and help participate in testing all the new features out. If you guys would like to take part in the next one, like I said, we do them every Wednesday and Friday, and Saturday and Sunday streams are playing on the ProtoTech SMP server. Hope you guys enjoyed those tricks, and if you guys know of any other cool tricks to do with the snapshots, please let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to go ahead and leave a like on the video as well as share it with other Minecrafters so they can learn about the cool things coming out with 1.16. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.